Hi, Cindy. I'm so glad that you could join us and that you volunteered to do our Ask a Scientist program. I know that you're an educator up in Massachusetts, but I really want to let you talk about what you do, who you are, and what kinds of exciting, cool things you're going to share with everybody on the hour that you volunteer for Ask a Scientist. So, anyways, welcome and thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you for
I'm
having me.
really excited. And Cindy, tell us your name and tell us who you work for, the organization. Let's start there.
Okay, so I am Cynde McInnis. I live in, do I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I live in Massachusetts.
Uh huh.
Um, been working with whales for about 26 years now in a lot of different capacities. So I've worked with whale watch companies. I'm currently working with Seven Seas Whale Watch right now. I also own the Whale Mobile, which is a life-size inflatable whale that I take into schools.
That's really
So
cool.
do a lot to teach kids about whales and the oceans and what we can do to help protect them. I also teach at Salem State University. I teach a couple classes that have whales as a very heavy content. Um, and I guess that's it.
So you say you work with whales, but that doesn't mean you're in the water telling the whales
No,
what
no,
to
no,
do. So what does
no.
that really mean?
So to me, I guess it means that, out on the water, I'm observing them, and so making, understanding their behavior, who they are. But then I've also been really active in going to conferences and learning about what is happening all around the world so that I can share that with kids and with people that come on the boat to give them kind of a bigger picture about what these animals are. Because I feel like people think, oh, I know something about whales, but then they don't even know that there's toothed whales and baleen whales. And so I think there's just so much that we can learn. And when people ask me about what age my presentations are geared to, I'll say, well, it's K through 6, but really anybody learns something about it. And inevitably the adults come up to me and they're like, oh, I didn't know that about whales. So to me, I guess I've been working with whales, but I just have been, I've been fascinated by them since I was a little kid. And so it's just kind of getting to live out my childhood passion.
I love to ask this question from people like you. When is the first time you can remember that you said, "Oh, I really want to do this for the rest of my life"?
I don't. My mom said that the first time I saw whales, I was just blown away, but I don't have any memory of that. But I have a journal entry that I actually share with kids from 6th grade that said in 10 years I want to be a marine biologist, and all my friends think it's stupid, but I think it'd be fun.
That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
great. Do you have a lot of people walk up to you and say, "I want to be a marine biologist. I always wanted to be a marine biologist"?
Yeah, especially on the whale watch boat. And and it's funny because you can see like with a kid, you can see the look in their eye. They're like, I want to do what you're doing when I grow up. And even adults will say, um, oh, I wanted to be a marine biologist when I grew up, but I did this instead. Or, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's the most. I know you do a lot of things that are really cool science, but what's your personal favorite thing when you get up in the morning you say, "Oh, I get to do this today."
I think one of my favorite things is watching a group of kids watch the whale inflate. Because like I have it rolled up in a ball and then I unroll it in front of them and I don't really lay it out. I just kind of turn on the blower and they get excited, but then when the whale gets about 2/3 of the way up, as it finishes inflating, the volume in the room just increases too. And just the look on their faces it's just pure awe. It's just amazing to me. Yeah.
That is amazing. 'Cause we know how big whales are. Which whale do you inflate?
So I have a humpback, and it's a model of Nile, who's one of my favorites out here.
How big is Nile?
40. Well, mine is 43 feet, but the real one, I'm probably 48, maybe 49, I would
That
think.
sounds about right for a humpback whale. Um, okay, so out of all the experiences that you have, can you think of one that stands out of being um, the biggest rush, or the, oh my God, I didn't see that coming, or anything that just, something unexpected that happened to you during the time that you have with whales?
Wow. Um, I have one, but it's probably not very appropriate.
Go ahead, go for it. We can edit.
No, we just had this one day. One of the captains that I used to work with had this uncanny ability. He'd be like, I think we're going to go out and see Close to Boat today. And we would go out and see Close to Boat. And so we were heading out, and he was like, I think we're going to see Close to Boat and Breaching today. And I was like, sure we will. And so we're heading out, and there were probably like 30 whales around. 28 of them off to our 11 o'clock, and 2 of them breaching off to 1 o'clock. And so he's like, we're going to go to the breachers. And I was like, great, they're going to stop breaching when they get there. But they did not. They breached a couple times. Then they came to the boat, and they were playing with the boat. But it was a male and a female, and the female seemed to be more evasive and kind of hugging the boat a little bit more. And so they spent 20 minutes kind of circling the boat, and then they spent another 20 minutes circling the boat, but more interested in each other. And then they were belly to belly on one side of the boat. They swam underneath the boat, and then they left, and they swam off. And it was just, I was just like, oh my gosh, what did we just see? So it was just really, really cool. It was in September too, so.
Yeah, in the feeding grounds before they migrated down to the breeding grounds.
Yep, so, and it was very, very interesting.
And so you just mentioned some words, and I don't want you to explain them because I know you'll talk about them in your talk.
Yeah.
And everybody can ask you these questions, but breaching is something that whales do. Belly to belly is a good indication that those whales are doing something they don't usually do up in Massachusetts, off the east coast of the United States. And we can talk about that. You know, we're scientists, so we know how to talk about these things without being embarrassed about them, which is kind of important if you want to understand the life cycle, right?
Yeah.
But you can see me, and you can see my mouth was dropping open because I study humpback whales on the breeding grounds where they're having babies and making babies.
Yeah.
And to see that thousands of miles north where they should be feeding and just doing other things, is unexpected. But it also speaks to how much we don't know yet, and you get to get out there and make those observations and report them and share that.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon on the live channel.
Sounds good. Thank you.